Hi, my name is Vuk and I'm the host of the Change podcast, where we introduce you to people and ideas shaping the MENA region. In this episode, we're going to talk about the future of mobility. What will cars look like tomorrow in 2030 and in 2050, and how will that affect your business? Our guest today is Bruno Grippay. Bruno is the regional director at Nissan Motor Corporation for Africa, Middle East, India for connected cars and intelligent mobility. Sounds really exciting. He is about to share his expertise and tell us what the future of mobility is and how the automotive industry can adapt to this new world. Welcome, Bruno.
Thanks, Vuk, for inviting me.
Thanks for coming. How are you? How was your week so far?
So good. So far, so good. Everything going well, and it's Thursday, so it's good.
Oh, yeah, Thursdays are always good. The best day of the week. Are you guys back in the office or is remote work? How do you
No, we are back to the office. Yeah.
Fully.
Yes, almost. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good actually. It's good to come back and see the colleagues at the office. Yeah.
No, I'm sure. And I mean, the trends are showing that a lot of major organizations are planning to do remote work in the future. Maybe next year. Are you guys planning to do something similar, or are you going to be in the office?
I think the intention is mainly to work from the office, and it will be more flexible, so people can work from home when necessary. It's good. Yeah. It's good actually. Well, this is bringing flexibility in the way we are working.
Well, I think the whole model is still yet to be proved whether remote work can be as efficient as the work in the office. I like it, but just kind of a fraction of the time. But I prefer office work.
I prefer as well.
Yeah.
Particularly if you want to meet new people, or if you want to do some, you cannot do brainstorming session from home. So I think from home it's good if you do some regular processes or regular activities, but when we try to launch some new project or new activities, you have to do that face to face.
It's difficult, especially when I join a Zoom call and then I have 40 people online. Like, how are we going to discuss anything, 40 of us on a Zoom video? This is not a commercial for Zoom, by the way. Stocks are going to go higher now because of this. So today we'll be talking about future of mobility. I'm a petrol head, so for me, plus I'm in digital and innovation, so for me a very exciting topic. So there is an enormous and huge transformation in the automotive industry happening over the previous couple of years, or let's say decades, but it's more about years almost. So and then the pace, it's incredible. Since we are all looking to save time and save money, and there is a lot of talk about self-driving cars. Do you think that self-driving cars will take over the world in a near future?
Autonomous drive, you mean?
Yes.
Near future, you mean 3-5 years?
Well, I think the near future is something that needs to be changed as a term,
Of course, So if you want, I can come back to because it's a fantastic and incredible topic to discuss. And I love talking about that. And I'm so happy to work on this project, because there are so many things that are changing very quickly, and probably faster than we expected, and it will be the same in the future. What I can tell you is first you can see that the TIV, what we call TIV, is the sales volume in the world.
TIV.
Yeah. So you can say that it's dropping. There was a peak in a couple of years ago at 80 million in the world.
80 million cars
sold every year.
Wow.
And it dropped to 60 million. The forecast for this year is 60 million. So you can see a significant drop. So it doesn't mean that, because there were a lot of questions about ownership will disappear in the car industry and people will go to car sharing. So we can talk about that. Doesn't mean that. I will give you my opinion, but I still believe and consider that people will continue to buy cars, because there are people excited about that, and it will not change. What is clear in this mobility revolution, we used to say there are 4 main pillars in that. So if you read books or read articles, you will see that people call that either case or ACEs, or even I've seen some call it that phase, and I will tell you why. So case stands for C for connectivity, A for autonomous, so we go back to your question, S for shared services or shared mobility, and E for electrification, that is this case. So what will happen in the near future for these four main trends? I think connectivity, there will be a boom in connectivity, in connected car. You've seen that already in China. It's very interesting to see what's going on in China in terms of connectivity. Of course, in a market like the US or Europe, but particularly China have been very strong on that.
And when you say connectivity, if you can unpack that in just a couple of sentences for listeners.
Right, yeah. So this is a thing that your car is becoming like, it's like a computer, or it's like a software on wheels. You can do things with your car, like remote control. You can talk to your car will talk to you. You can activate features in your car only by voice.
Bumblebee.
Yeah, the car can speak to you actually. And I've seen some models that they have already put like a AI pet inside the car. So you have the image is talking to you and say, hello, Vuk, how are you today?
Wow.
Where do you want to go? And if you want to go to a Japanese restaurant, I can give you some options.
If you want to go to Mars?
And the car will, well, maybe one day. And the car will even book the restaurant for you, invite you, prepare. So
wow.
This is a very, very close and I would say emotional interaction with your car. And actually, this is the reason why ownership will continue, because all these new technology that we are bringing to the cars will make people more passionate about their cars. Anyway, so this is connectivity. And actually, in one of the basic things you can have in connectivity is what the name is eCall, and it will be regulatory in UAE for new models now. eCall is a very basic connectivity solution, which is very important for people. Is if you have an accident, automatically, the car will send an information to a call center, and they will automatically, they know where is the car, what happened, and they will send safety ambulance and safety people to rescue you directly. So this is, the connectivity will bring safety to people and stress-free. So it's very, very attractive evolution for automotive.
But that needs to be highly regulated, right? So it depends from country to country, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I see. Okay.
So this is the C, connectivity. C. Then you have A for autonomous. So let me put that on the side. We'll come back at the end, autonomous, because it's a different situation. Then you have S for shared mobility, car sharing and all of that. So we can talk about that because this is an interesting evolution. And my view, so car sharing, you know, Uber, Karim, but there are a lot of different options or scenarios for car sharing and shared mobility that we can talk about that. There are different scenarios and things that probably you don't know, and it will be very interesting to hear about that.
Can't wait.
Let's keep that for later. And then you have E for electrification.
Okay.
So what is interesting is when I told you the TIV is 80 million and going down to 60 million, today 90% is traditional combustion engine. And you have 3% EV and 7% hybrid. And EV, it's mainly there are a few markets that are very advanced.
This is global.
Global, yeah.
But even 3% sounds like a decent number.
Yeah, but it actually since a few months is increasing significantly in some markets because the main markets were so far China and the north of Europe, Norway, Finland. Now it's increasing in other markets like Germany, France. Big increase. Now they are reaching 10% market share, which is significant because at the beginning it was, in the last few years, it was remaining at 1-3%. So it's booming. So it's a very good. And the forecast we have is that in 10 years, let's say, combustion engine will drop. So from 90 to 40%. There will be a significant drop in combustion engine, traditional engine. Big increase in hybrid will go to 40%, so it will be balanced. And the EV expected to be at 20%. So you can see a big increase in EV.
Which probably means that 20% globally, but in developed countries that would be
more.
Probably 60 or something like that.
60, maybe 50 or 40, 50. So it will be more in developed countries and countries that are given incentive, because you're still in incentive. But we are reaching a point, and you will see in the market, what I'm reading, the automotive news, you can see that in the next year, the next 12 months, not even in 3 years, you will see tremendous amounts of new EV model that will be launched by the OEM. There will be, I don't know, several dozen of, or maybe 100 vehicle, and this is interesting because these cars are very attractive. The design is really impressive. So EV. So you have, this is the case. So then the last one, let me go back to autonomous. This was your first question. So the A for autonomous. Why I'm saying I put autonomous on the side is because I think it will take more time for autonomous. Because connectivity, electrification, and shared mobility, it depends a lot on the own company, investors. They can decide to do that and launch that on the market. Autonomous will require a change in the infrastructure. So you need cooperation with cities, with countries, governments, to be able to adapt the roads or the infrastructure to support autonomous drive. So this is why it will take more time. But the thing we are doing, and many companies, is we start doing some beginning of autonomous drive. So you said you are driving, which car are you driving?
It's not electric one. It's a how do you say it exactly?
It doesn't have to be an electric car. You can
BMW, if that's the question.
So you can have some autonomous.
I'm afraid to say it's not Nissan.
No, it's fine. I'm okay.
But for the sake of the show, I can say Nissan Patrol.
No, it's okay. No, you can, because you have in your car, you have already some autonomous drive. When we call intelligent cruise control, when you have the car is going, it's following the lane. This is the beginning of autonomous car. And we need that because we also have to educate the drivers. They have to learn. It's very difficult to go immediately in a full autonomous car. So people will have to educate step by step.
I wouldn't leave that wheel ever.
So we are doing that step by step, and it's progressive autonomy that we are bringing to the car.
But you do believe that at one point autonomous vehicles will be in majority of the households?
It will come, but it will take time again. But it will depend a lot of governments. Here, there is a very strong push.
Because of the visions for 2030.
There is and actually this market is interesting because you can do, actually we should push for autonomous, even if it's level 1 or 2, because the roads, the highways, everything is done, everything is, the infrastructure is ready for autonomous here.
Nice.
And the objective to say 30% transportation in autonomous by 2030 makes sense, really, yeah. Interesting.
So, predicting the future was always difficult.
Oh yes.
And I'm not sure is it even possible to without accepting that you're going to probably be wrong by chance of 50%. But given the current situation, what is happening today, it's even more difficult. What struck us as a pandemic. Do you think it's easier to predict a 3-year future or a 2050? Future.
It's easier 2050 because I don't take any risk.
Yeah,
I can say whatever.
You're not good. Well, let's see.
You will not come back.
But maybe you're
to challenge me, right?
I'm going to record one in 2050. The change with Bruno. Yeah.
But in 3 years, actually, even in 3 months,
it's difficult.
No, but in 3 years, it's what I said. I think there will be a big push on connectivity. And autonomous car will take more time. So 2030 is a good target for some implementation. But I heard that some famous automotive brands are saying that they will bring autonomous in the next few months or very soon, which is we have to make a difference between the technology and the possibility to drive it on the road. So probably you can bring the technology, but doesn't mean that people will be able to use it on the road because the road will not.
You can demonstrate it in a controlled environment, but you can't actually deploy it to the roads and today's roads, right?
Yeah.
Is the pandemic, is it slowing down the process?
No, I don't. Actually, it's even accelerating the process. If you take shared mobility, it's amazing how people are changing their behavior. It's clearly so. We were talking about work from home before. So you see, even people they are trying in Europe. So I don't know if we were in Europe. You see people trying to move their home or their apartments out of the cities, the downtown, and they want to go to the countryside to have a different life. So behaviors are changing a lot, and this will impact a lot the mobility, because if you work from home, you don't have to go to the office everybody at the same time, and we have all these rush hours, which is creating a big congestion and so on. And if you want to live outside of the city, probably you will need a way to travel different from before. You know, for me, the shared mobility is, every time we are talking about that, for me it's very positive and robust trend, downtown cities. You are living in you are living in Paris, or you are living in New York, probably you don't need a car. You take
metro, or
you take or even you can take Uber, Karim, whatever.
Yes.
And when you want to travel outside of the city, you can take a car for short rental, 2-3 a few days, and take the car. But if you are living outside of city downtown, it's not so easy to use shared mobility. So probably you will need to keep your car. But there are a lot of options that I will tell you later, what you can do with your car, and put your car as a like of peer-to-peer shared mobility, this kind of thing. So there are a lot of things that you can do in the future. So basically, back to your question, I think the pandemic probably will help us to accelerate and move to this new mobility revolution.
But I think that we were all forced to try different ways of living due to the pandemic, not only in transportation, but in every aspect of our life. And probably some of the people who were not that willing to explore, to get out of their comfort zone by exploring different technologies, were not forced and realized, wow, but this is not so bad. This is cool. So in that sense, it's going to accelerate the acceptance of new technologies that are coming.
And this is interesting, because I've seen in Europe, people have been, there is a booming in the sales of e-bike.
E-bike, all right.
People
e-bike, when you say e-bike, you're referring to the bicycle with the small engine that supports you with the...
Yeah, so, and you can see it, I think, I don't have any data about that, but it's amazing, the booming. And I've seen also in cities in Europe, they are creating now a lot of secured bicycle lines for people to travel using bicycles. So, of course, this would not have happened. I would not say without the pandemic, but before there was nothing special, no trend like that on bicycles.
For sure.
But so this you can see the impact on the behavior of people and the way they change their mobility.
I'm not sure just how many pandemics do we need to reach the stage of our lives where, maybe in 1990s we were all saying, in 2000s the cars will be flying around us, So how many pandemics do we need to accelerate that much to reach the stage where actually cars are flying around us?
But you imagine, we are talking about flying cars and we are back to bicycles.
Exactly. So it's very, Do you think that technologies, or for example drones and drone delivery, also autonomous drones, have the future?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Of course. And actually, probably it's easier than autonomous drive.
Why?
Because can you imagine the amount of data and situation you have to investigate or register to be able to have a car driving on a road, and you have a lot of risk and everything. You have other cars, you have pedestrian, you have obstacles everywhere. So it's complicated. When you are flying drone, there is nothing except buildings, and so it's more simple to collect data and prepare autonomous for flying engine than for a vehicle on the road.
Yes, there is that case that is always being brought up when you talk about autonomous vehicles and the decision making that autonomous vehicles need to make in emergency situations. Is that still kind of an obstacle for bigger or faster acceptance of autonomous vehicles, or that's solved now?
No, I would not say it's all, but what is impressive is the amount of data, billions of data that the companies are collecting to be able to prepare the autonomous vehicle in the future. I think they will probably will have at the beginning to be deployed in a secured area. It will be difficult to have an autonomous car surrounded by crazy drivers who are going full speed, tailgating and so on. So it's a bit complicated.
How are we going to solve that issue on Sheikh Road?
There are more risks here. So, but if you have only autonomous cars together,
that's the safest environment.
Yeah, and
that's even safer than what we have today.
Of course, more than 90. I think the figure I have in mind is 93, but more than 90% of the accidents are due to wrong human behavior.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Going to be reduced to...
If you put autonomous car, it will be reduced
0.00 something.
Maybe, yeah. So that's probably I would not say zero, but close to zero. So this is something we also have to keep in mind. And if we want to live all together in a very safe society and have less risk, no accident, and so we have to accept to release our control on the car and give back the control to the AI, because this will be safer for the world. Yeah,
education plays a major role there, right? How to educate people that this is actually safer than them being behind the wheel.
Exactly.
They need to accept that fact.
And actually, you can already test it with the autonomous or automatic cruise control. I'm using that all the time here in Dubai, and it's interesting to see how people around me are behaving, because the car when you use the basic autonomous drive, the car is a different behavior. It's not reacting the same way than a human body. So it's very interesting to see how the people around you are reacting. Yeah.
Are you currently in the electric car?
I came with my electric car. I have a Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
If you want to test it.
I want to test it later on the parking lot.
Yeah. This is great. Really great. Have you ever tested an EV car?
I didn't drive it. I was just in one of the EV cars, and I just felt the enormous torque that they have.
Acceleration?
Actually, no. I did try one. Very small car that surprised me with the speed and acceleration. It was amazing.
Acceleration.
The only
quite nice.
my only comment would be it's missing the sound. That's what but I guess you get used to it after some time.
Yeah. But some companies are creating some
artificial
sounds.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
No, not exactly same as an amp shield, but something. Yeah. But no, I really enjoy it. It's And now the good thing is the technology is improving a lot. The range. There are always questions about the range of the car, the autonomy. I will not be able to go.
What's the range of your car?
This one is above 350 kilometers. But now the cars are reaching 600, 700. I heard 800. So when you are reaching this autonomy, this range, there's no problem at all. Yeah. And also
even for commuting 200, 300 kilometers is enough.
Yeah. And another good thing in the technology is the cost of the battery is going down, which will make these cars more affordable. And also the charging time, because we are also improving the charging station. So all the technology is improving. So every time I'm reading articles saying, but electric car is not ecological or is not good. But people, they have to understand that this is an evolving technology very rapidly.
It's a very rapid curve of evolving,
One day, soon it will. It's really the trend. I'm really convinced about that.
So
actually, not only for cars, but
for everything else.
Smaller, there are a lot of things that you can do with
trucks.
Trucks.
Which is going
we are always talking about the. You heard about that, the last mile, first and last mile, with these small
drones are playing now one of the roles.
So there are a lot of things you can do that will change the way we live in our cities.
No, I'm sure.
For the good.
You mentioned before shared car services, and that's one of the areas that is being developed, and I think the only human's creativity is limiting what type of service that you can deliver with shared economy overall. When you compare that with the ownership and car ownership, do you think that that's going to reduce the numbers when it comes to car ownership, or is it going to stay the same?
So first, I think the car sharing is increasing. Yeah, there's no doubt it's increasing. We are talking about double-digit year-over-year.
Yeah.
But it still remains a small overall volume. I checked, I had in mind 10 million users of car sharing, and the forecast we have is around 40 million in the next 5 years globally.
40 million of what?
Of users, people using car sharing. So it's remain limited, you know. So I don't think this will have a strong impact on ownership, and I believe people will continue to have an emotional relationship with cars. Yeah, and particularly we were talking about EV. When you see, or you will see, which are the EV cars that are coming on the market, you will be astonished. You know, Nissan will launch a Ariya of those. It's absolutely amazing. These cars, it's a completely different product than before. So when you drive an EV car, you never come back to a normal ICE model. You get fun, love at that. And with the connectivity, the AI technologies, these cars, as I told you at the beginning, these cars you will have a different relationship with your car. So people already love their car, so it will be even more a passion in the future than it is today. So I don't think that there will be big drop in ownership. I believe of a combination of both. Definitely. Yeah. I think there will be clearly combination of shared mobility and ownership.
And does the subscription model plays a major role in the future of?
This is interesting. This is a good subscription is interesting case. Yeah. I believe. Yeah. And
how is that affecting car industry overall and brands?
Well, first the automotive companies, they are investing a lot in car sharing. Almost all the brands now, they have their own car sharing companies and proposing scenarios in the option in the different markets. But subscription is a very interesting proposal, also a business proposal, because it can be a combination of ownership and car sharing, and there are different scenarios. The basic one is you have your own car, and when you are not using it, you put back your car on a platform, and people can rent your car for a few days, a few weeks, and you get a revenue out of this rental. So the platform company, they get a percentage, and you get revenue as well. So you can own your car and use your car to help other people to drive and make money for you and have a shared mobility. This is a very interesting proposal. There are other scenarios where instead of buying a car, you just pay a monthly fee with a brand. Today it's done brand by brand. It's not multi-brand, but you pay a fee, and you can get any car from the brand for the time you want. So it's a service. It's you don't own the car in this case, but it's a complete service for you. So
how is it different to leasing? Is that similar like leasing or something different?
It's very different, because leasing, you take only one car.
Okay.
If you lease a patrol, you keep your patrol for the time of your lease. Here, you pay a monthly fee, so you can take a patrol for 3 days, and then after you can take Nissan Leaf to practice.
So I can subscribe on a fleet, right?
Time. You can shift the car, take another car every time you want. So
depending on your package. So I have a premium package, so on weekends I can be in GTR, on day-to-day with EV, and then weekends patrol in desert.
Exactly.
really cool.
Would you like that?
When are you deploying that?
But this is a very interesting offer, right? And
or even if you think about it, for example, the idea that crossed my mind was you have a community, and there's a community fleet of cars. So I'm living in the Greens, for example.
Yeah.
So the Greens offers now a fleet of cars that I can subscribe as a tenant in the community.
Yeah.
I think that's a model that definitely is in the future.
Yeah, and actually this is a very, very good model to make people testing EV models. The other scenario, which is very interesting, is you buy a patrol, or you buy any car. I will take a patrol because it's a very famous car, and you pay on top of that, we propose you to pay an additional monthly fee. So, whatever. And then you will get, it's happened, I've seen that in Europe already. And you pay a monthly fee, and during the year, you can switch your car for a limited number of days, so it's part of the contract, to switch to another model. For example, I will give you take a small car, you take a Micra or a small car.
Okay.
But during the year, because you are commuting and you are only driving inside the city in Dubai, so you want a small car. But for winter, you want to go to Oman or whatever, and you need a bigger car. You want a patrol for winter. So you could buy a Micra, and we would ask you to pay an incremental monthly fee that will give you the possibility for 30, 60 days during the year to switch from Micra to another car.
Wow. But that's amazing.
This is a subscription model that has been implemented.
What's preventing you to do it now, today, here?
We have to study that. It's part of the study. It has to be a good business case.
I mean, in general, what's preventing brands to deploy this kind of services today?
No, nothing. It's just we need a good business case. Ensure that there are potential customers for that, which is not proven yet here. And there is a bit of logistics to organize around that, because
deliveries, exactly, and maintenance,
and now with this pandemic, we have to be careful. Where do the people? How we clean the car? How do we make sure that the car is sanitized? Where do we clean the car? So there's a bit of logistics.
I'm going to subscribe to your newsletter. Subscribe to your newsletter and wait for the information to be in my inbox.
So what is interesting is you see that when we talk about shared mobility or car sharing, the scope is very large. It's broader than limited to using Uber.
And my next question is going to explore that even further now. So obviously the shared services are being accepted more and more, and this industry is growing, and for sure there's no reason why that is not going to grow in the future. How is that affecting now other industries?
Well, obviously it will affect taxi, minibus, or the private transportation like that. But again, I don't think it will affect too much public transportation. We've seen public transportation affected by the pandemic, but I don't think it will affect too much, because there is also a thing that we need to provide solutions which are affordable, and people are different. Probably people who are using public transportation, Uber or car sharing is probably too expensive, so we need to find solution. I cannot tell you more about that, but there are solutions.
Teaser for 2021 episode.
There are other solutions to be able to afford mobility, which will be not like a car sharing, but it will be more affordable than the current Uber or ride-hailing, car sharing stuff, and public transportation. It will be in between. They are this and particularly it's coming from startups. Startups are so imaginative about future of mobility and what they can do to bring a good solution for people that are flexible. And you will always use your smartphone. And what is interesting is a big difference between Uber and public transportation. And Uber, the Karim, it comes to your home. Public transportation, you have to go to the station.
Yes.
Imagine then the bus or we make the public transportation or the minibus coming to your home.
Wow. The whole metro comes to my home.
And ensure that you will arrive at your destination at the time you want to go. So this is the kind of thing that we could do in the future with all these the data that we are collecting for.
So that's when going back to case. So that's when you put together connectivity, autonomous, electric, and
share mobility.
When you put that together, all together, then you're opening up so many opportunities. That's amazing.
Actually, for shared mobility, you need connectivity at least. If you have a connectivity in the car, it's better because you can control better what you're doing with the car. And so when you combine these technologies and these trends, the future is marvelous.
But that's we saw it in movies when you see someone, you know, traveling in this super, you know, futuristic car, sitting in the car, but actually doing other stuff.
Yeah.
They're not driving; they're doing
Yeah.
a business meeting.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you think about this whole concept and put on top of, for example, let's say we bring into perspective healthcare. So now healthcare offers. They have their fleet of autonomous vehicles that they're sending out to pick up their patients and return them back. So, and during the time they're spending in the vehicle, which is now luxury 30 minutes of time that someone has a full attention towards the however you're communicating with them, that's again opening up so many opportunities.
Yeah.
If you're not driving, you're sitting 30 minutes in a car, being surrounded with some displays, which is now a channel for communicating with the actual passenger, right?
Of course. Actually, this is why software is becoming more and more important in the car industry, because the car soon will really be software, computer on wheels, as I said. But you will have to change the design of the car. It will not make any sense to keep the layout in the car
as it
the
was
car
before.
is autonomous. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense to have the people sit there they are today. So this, can you imagine as well the change, the revolution in the design, the internal design of the car? This is amazing that we could do.
Is it going to be a challenge for automotive industry to adapt to this rapid change, given the traditional process of from the moment the car is designed? How long does it last in average from the moment the car is designed to actually hit the road?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
That needs to accelerate, right? If automotive industry wants to keep up the pace with the rapid change.
Yeah, there are solutions ongoing. They are, yeah, probably it will have, but this is interesting because you also have to think about how you do in future. You could have a basic platform. This is one trend.
Battery.
The same, and even the battery. And even now I read some crazy things, amazing thing today that because the battery, the cells, you put them in a package. You have to isolate the battery for safety and so on. So today, the battery package is probably the heaviest part of the car, of the EV car. There are companies that are thinking about removing the package and put the cells on the chassis, on the car, so, but then there are safety issues, security issues, but you can, this what I was saying is, you cannot imagine how the future will bring as new technologies and improvements in the car industry.
Super interesting, yeah.
So yes, 5 years, you say it's 5 years, we'll probably have to go faster, but, and particularly because technology is evolving a lot. But one thing which is amazing, as we're bringing a lot of software in the car, now we are doing some what they call FOTA, over-the-air improvement. So you can buy your car today, and regularly you will get some upgrades on your car over the air.
That's amazing.
Get new feature that
that's
your car doesn't
absolutely
have today.
Amazing.
And this is a reality today. So
it is that basically what you have today with your computers, you just update your computer and all of a sudden you have all of these extra features. That's going to be possible with cars.
Exactly.
And even some of these cars that you are, so for example, the car that you're currently driving, basically what can happen in the future, you just install the new update and all of a sudden your car is completely autonomous.
Exactly. So
without even bringing it into garage.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So, and this is why it's also a big change in the R&D automotive industry, because traditionally, you were doing a car, you spent 5 years to do a car, and the day you launch the car on the market, you have to make 100% sure that everything is fixed and the quality is at the top, because after that, you will not change the car. And the life of the car is maybe 5, 7, 10 years, depends on the model, but you will not change the car. Now it's completely different. You can launch a car with some features that are not ready yet, that will come later. It's becoming like an application, like a mobile application, when you are receiving on your computer, receiving upgrade all the time. This is This is amazing. This is amazing.
So whoever was thinking before listening to this episode about how cars are getting boring, maybe they heard about something, but in general, there are people who are thinking, cars are getting boring because there is so many other technologies that are evolving. Cars and automotive industry and actually, what's the you call it, the automotive industry is going to explode in the next in an absolute.
Yeah. Probably it will become an excitement as
because it's an essential part of our lives, transportation, right? We can't avoid it until they come up with the teleport,
Yeah.
Are you working on a teleport?
No.
But it's going to be really sad. How is this affecting the cities? So now, fast forward 20 years down the road, and we are in electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles. How is that affecting the city infrastructure?
No, I would say it's almost the reverse. The cities have to drive the change.
I see.
Actually, it's an interesting situation where probably an automotive company cannot work alone anymore. We need cooperation between the cities, the government, the other private sectors, and the car companies to change to change the way we are moving inside cities. So cities should not expect the change to come from automotive companies. They have to drive the change. And there are a lot of things we can do. I've seen, this will also help to change the behaviors of the driver. So cities, they have to, you are talking about smart cities.
Yes.
I love this concept. And when you look at smart cities, you understand that mobility is probably one of the key, I would not say the most important, but the major element of the project or plan for the smart cities. And everything will go around that, because where people will live, where people will work, how do we move? All of that is, and it's part of the energy. For example, my car, my Leaf, Nissan Leaf, it's not only, this is the beauty of EV cars. It's not like a traditional, I'm not only changing the traditional engine with a motor. This is an electric motor. This is not only that. With my car, I can use my car to bring back electricity to my home.
How are you going to do that?
For example, during the day, you have your car and you have a solar panel to recharge your car, charging station. So you use the solar energy. So it's very safe. In the evening, when there is a peak of electricity and the cost is high, you go back home and you plug your car to your grid, and the electricity in your car goes to your home in the evening. So you use the car. Wow. The electricity coming from the sun, it's like a battery from the sun to get electricity in the evening at home. And during the night, when the electricity cost is lower, you can recharge your car. So this is a very simple example, and we have done that in some part of the world. I can tell you a very interesting project, but we have done that in some part of the world. But just to tell you that EV cars, it's not only mobility, it's part of the ecosystem and the smart city. It's part of the complete way of life that we want to change and bring. And this is very, very. It's a fantastic project to do that. I will give you an example that we could do is we are always talking about what do we do with the battery, because this is a problem. After 8-10 years, what do we do with the battery of the car? So we are recycling this battery. This is very important because one of the projects we have when we talk about EV is not only selling EV cars, it's also to help improving the society and make it better for everybody. So everybody in the company, people are also very cautious about how can we improve the way we live and how can we make a better society for future generation. So we have to recycle the battery. One thing we can do, for example, you use your battery, your whole battery, in a village where they don't have any electricity. You put your whole battery with a solar panel. With the solar panel, you recharge the battery, and the battery will be utilized to bring electricity to people in a small village when they don't have any electricity installation.
What's the power of the car battery? So if that battery can get the car moving for 300 kilometers, compare that to powering the home.
I think the battery can power the home for 1-2 days
really?
without any problem. Yeah, depends what. But if you have basic appliances, it's
powerful.
You can. So back to the change the cities. So the cities, they have to drive the change. So you can see everything we can do. So we need the cities to, and it has to be cooperation between cities, private sectors, and automotive companies.
It's interesting to think everywhere around the world. Luckily, here in the region, not yet, but the space is a problem. Here, luckily, we have a lot of space, but around the world, there's a lot of major cities that are struggling with, traffic jams and plots. You were living in Japan, so I mean, Japan is probably struggling quite a lot with space. Hong Kong and cities like that, and parking is becoming a madness. Luckily, here we're still struggling, although we have a lot of parking fines, but but we are in a better place. What's going to happen with parking in future?
But the new technology will help us as well to manage our parking. I think one of the first probably evolution that cities should do is to remove parking in the streets.
In the streets?
Yeah. If you do that, if you start by removing parking in the street, you will get a completely different feeling or environment, You can even create green lines or bicycle lines or whatever, or pedestrian lines instead of parking on the street. And this is something you can do. So then, how do you manage the parking? You have, in Japan, you were talking about Japan. In Japan, it's interesting. You have these multi-layer automatic parking.
Yes, these garages that are going up and down.
It's automatic. You bring your car, you exit your car, and your car go on a platform, and the car goes
disappears somewhere in the ground or something.
But the good thing of that is, because it's automated and it's done by computers and so on, you can squeeze the space. You can bring the car closer to each other without any risk. So this is helping to put more cars in the same surface. And these kind of things which we should develop. That the other thing is you will use your smartphone, and instead of having, when there is a rush hour, you go to the mall and you cannot find a parking spot. This happens sometimes, unfortunately. You have all the cars running. With a smartphone, with a good application, you would allocate parking spots exactly, and the car will go to this place. Another thing which will happen with autonomous drive, you will get the concierge, what we call concierge. You go to the place, you can drive to the place, and then you exit your car.
And the
you
concierge
click a button, and your car goes away alone. And he goes.
So maybe make some money for you in the meantime. 2 hours while you're shopping.
And then when you're the shopping, you call your car, and your car come back. So you don't need any more. If you have this technology, you don't need any more parking to the mall.
Yes.
Of course, you can have car sharing, but this is the parking evolution or management should be part also of the smart cities plan. How do we manage mobility? How do we improve the place where we live? And of course, one of that is how do we reduce the parking places?
With all of this optimization, and this is all about optimization, we're going to become extremely more efficient. Car ownership should decline, right? In general, with all of the shared economy, absolute utilization of your vehicle. So while you are not using it, someone else is using it. Probably it is going to slow down.
Yeah. Well, probably people will shift to current ICE vehicle to EV models. So probably there is a big opportunity for future business. The other thing is the automotive companies, they will move to more service business, and they will get new revenue out of that. I told you that many companies are doing car sharing now. You will have the subscription mode. So, and there are a lot of things you can do with the application. There are a lot of service that you can offer to your customers. And this will bring new source of revenue for the automotive companies, and probably more profitable than selling cars today.
Well, if you think about it, yeah, even if you think from outside of the industry, think about the production of the vehicle and the whole manufacturing process that you need to set up just for one model. To get the ROI on that, you really need to sell a lot of vehicles. Instead of having a platform like any EV and autonomous vehicles with some combinations of subscriptions, models, shared services, shared economy, the whole landscape of the industry will change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's really mind-blowing when you think about it. I can just imagine what's happening behind the door when you sit and strategize about the next things.
So I can tell you, it's not boring at all. It's so exciting because when you think about all these,
it's crazy.
These changes that are coming, it's amazing. Yeah.
Well, just one more thing regarding the cities and smart cities and the infrastructure changes. What are the major? You've said a couple of times that actually the cities will drive the kind of the acceptance of autonomous vehicles. What are the major changes that are required? If you look at the street today, what needs to be changed?
I think the road infrastructure has to change. When you look at there is something interesting. I've been always impressed by in Europe, in cities in Europe. Before there were 2-3 lines in the main avenues in the big city. There were 2-3 lines, and everybody was driving there. Step by step, they are reduced the number of lines, and now in many places there is only one line. There is
Which is enough.
So you cannot. You have to. All the cars are in the queue, and you cannot pass over. And at the beginning, we were worried. Say, this will be a mess. There will be a congestion everywhere. I will not drive anymore. Will be very slow. But not at all. Not at all. Actually, it's even helping to smooth the traffic in the street. So I think this is a good example showing that the cities, they have a strong power and responsibility to make changes in the mobility. So even to make changes in the behavior of the driver, because when you are in one line, you have to accept it. Because otherwise you get a bit impatient and you say, this car is not driving fast enough, I want to pass. So I did that in Japan, actually, because I was a bit aggressive in the past. And in Japan, I learned to be patient because you have to. There is no way
respect
you have to respect
everyone.
Follow, and it's very good, very good. And the cities, they have to push and make this change and have the infrastructure, modify the infrastructure to do this change. So probably the roads have to be changed a lot. The road infrastructure to accommodate these changes. You were talking about parking, for sure. If you have less parking, but at the same time, the purpose is not to punish the people. We have to bring something better. So it's a very balanced. So you have to improve the service you are offering to the people. So this is very interesting. This is a fantastic project for the future. How the city can improve the structure of the mobility inside for the citizen, people living in the city. This is a fantastic project because thinking about that, thinking of a plan for the future will help a lot all of the people, all of the actors of this business to define a new ecosystem for the city. So
it sounds like an amazing concept. And it sounds like that requires a lot of alignment between major companies and the government. What kind of dialogue is required for that? Is it happening, and how does it work? What's required for that to happen? It seems like there is a lot of synchronization that needs to be in place.
Yeah, but I think we need to start small. You will not, if you take Dubai, you will not change the organization in Dubai. So we need to start small. We need to do some pilots, probably in one zone, in one area. We take an area and we build about. There were projects. Google had a project in Toronto, but unfortunately they stopped it. They have a project in Europe. There are a lot of projects for new mobility in cities.
So you select a small area of town.
You take some area and you try to reinvent the way of living.
Are we close to seeing something like that here?
There is a Dubai, what they call Dubai Sustainability City. It's a good. I think. I didn't visit the place, but this is probably maybe something bigger, but something that could also incorporate some business and so on. And with automotive companies, we should be partner of that to think together what should be the future models or future technology we can bring.
Well, I think that this requires, going back to the previous topic, education. We need to talk about it. We need to have more dialogues like this one, because my opinion is that automotive industry requires and is in need of more publicity. You're not as loud as some of the other industries that are out there talking about innovations and so on. You know, every other magazine is talking about fintech, for example. While there's an enormous amount of innovation happening in the automotive industry. So, well, I'm going to keep inviting you, and we're going to keep talking about it, and hopefully we're going to start the avalanche of these kind of talks. So with all of these changes going on, it is almost certain that some industries will disappear. Some industry will have to adapt to the change, not only in the automotive industry, but the overall change that technology is bringing. And there is a research that is saying that 37% of people are feeling anxious about being replaced to a certain degree by machines or technology. What do you think, how businesses can start preparing for the future of that mobility will bring in? To leverage because obviously mobility will bring an enormous amount of value that can be leveraged, and it's just about your kind of imagination and creativity, how to use it.
I'm not, we always say that we've heard that many times in the past, where people you lose your job and we will be replaced
by robots.
But there are every time there are a lot of new jobs that are created. So there is a chain creation which is amazing, and I see a lot of new opportunities for people with new jobs in the future. So probably it's clear. For example, we are talking about car sharing and the impact on taxi drivers. Probably it's clear. This is but there will be new opportunities, and these new technologies. Case, we're talking about case. This is amazing. The number of new jobs that it will create that do not exist today, and probably. Well, I cannot list which are all these new jobs that will be created, but it's amazing. And I have children, 2 children. They are more than teenagers. They're 20 years old and so on. This is amazing. They are doing jobs or activities that are completely new for me, and I'm even always surprised by what they are doing.
You're actually making money with it.
So even your job, did not exist in the past. So. This is the future. There will be completely new jobs that will be created. So I'm not worried about that.
What do you think? Which are the industries that will benefit the most out of this new era?
Software, software, communication. I think one other one which is important is customer relationship. People, what is interesting is in this new world is customers are now getting more clear about their expectation. We have all these new tech companies. They have put a customer experience far above what was in the past.
Setting up new standards.
You start out when it's even myself when I'm impressed by the time I have to repair my computer. They know everything about my life, and it's very close. It's amazing. It's like so we have this. We have to. Now I'm expecting the same thing from everywhere I'm going, and I expect the same level of service. This will bring a lot of new opportunities and jobs for that. Another thing which is, we didn't talk about that yet, but it is a very important point, is data management.
Exactly.
This is because
this is a platform for 10 other conversations. If you start talking about data.
Because we are. And this is interesting. We are collecting, it's incredible.
Enormous amounts
of data. What are we doing with this data? So can you imagine what you can? Because you can, if you are doing, and it's not a threat. Is for the sake to make the society better. There are a lot of things you can do to improve the society if you can manage and utilize the data for good. For the good. So
Every new
this
technology
is a big
can be
opportunity.
is a threat to be misused. Obviously, any new technology introduced can be used in a good way and in a bad way. That same goes for data and then automotive, when you bring it into perspective. But data that is being collected by vehicles today and especially in future will bring in such strong sets of data to be used for future decision making, optimizing the experience, and as you said, standards that some of the giants set up today, technology giants, when it comes to experience, is going to be directly reflected to your car experience and the time that you're spending in car, right?
Another important change, and is all these operator, the telecom companies.
Yes.
You have to develop the 5G. If you don't have 5G, you will not get autonomous car.
Without 5G, it's going to be hard.
It's almost impossible because it's
too slow.
You need exactly. You need to get such a low latency, and you need to get you need the 5G to be able to get autonomous car on the road. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So 5G, it's another
5G. Yeah,
2 days discussion probably.
I think we're gonna keep this for another episode. Bruno, it was truly an eye-opening conversation. I enjoyed every second of it. We're going to continue now after the cameras goes off about some other topics.
You have to drive the car.
I'm gonna try the car now. I hope that you enjoyed as much as I did and that you learned something new and inspired. If you have any cool idea that you would like to share with us about how we can use autonomous drives in the future, or you're a startup that can contribute, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk to you as well. Bruno, thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
It was a pleasure. If you like this episode and what we are doing with the Change podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, next Monday, please stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bruno.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.